Hey, what's up? This is ChoseN, and in this video, joining me is going to be my good friend ColdBrew, and we are going to be going through and ranking each Doom Tower boss from easiest to hardest. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put my list on the screen, but ColdBrew will not be able to see it. And then I'm going to ask ColdBrew for his opinions, and then I will list it, and we'll see how he compares to mine as it unfolds. And then ColdBrew and I will collaborate to talk about the disagreements we had and why we ranked bosses in a different way during the list, and we'll just kind of have a fun discussion about the Doom Tower bosses. So let's get into it. Alrighty, and now joined by Mr. ColdBrew here. How you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing great. I'm excited about this one because we're definitely going to be disagreeing about some things today.
All right. So what we're gonna be doing in this one, I probably explained it in the intro, but just for ColdBrew's sake, we're gonna be ranking the hardest champions in the, or not champions, the hardest bosses in the Doom Tower, from the easiest to the hardest, starting at number 8 being the easiest and number 1 being the hardest. So the viewers on their end can see my list right here, and then we're gonna fill it in as we go with ColdBrew's list. And we did not collaborate on this yet, so I have no idea what he is gonna say. And then we'll kind of have ColdBrew start out at the easiest, and we'll go up from there. But first of all, I wanted to give a chance for us to talk about how this works, because it's kind of difficult to do based on your account individually, right?
Right, because everyone's account is very different in terms of the champions that they have, and that allows you to do different strategies, all right? That's the way that I think of it, at least. And then it's all about the gear, the accuracy thresholds that you need to pass, especially for hard Doom Tower. But again, even for normal Doom Tower, one specific boss needs you to have a little bit higher than normal accuracy in order to take it down. And then it's all about strategies depending on the champions that you do have. Normal difficulty and hard difficulty can be very different, because you can do some things on normal which you can't even try to do on hard. So it's very different, but overall I think I do have a good list in terms of the ones that I have in mind. The easiest one for me, I would say, to start things out.
Whoa, we're just gonna dive right in here. I mean, I don't even get a chance to give
Nope.
my input on that. Like,
All right, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. I'm not gonna say anything. I was ready to go in there.
ColdBrew's excited over here. ColdBrew's got a plane to catch or something. You got a flight coming up, or? No, that's, I agree. Like, yeah. So, like, obviously, anytime you do a tier list or a list of any sort, you're gonna get criticism and people are gonna disagree. So we're gonna do the best based on how we, based on like us doing account takeovers and interacting with people and our accounts. So we have a decent understanding of what's out there, but obviously, you may have wildly different rankings based on the champions that you have on your account might make a certain boss easier compared to somebody else. But okay, now I'm ready. Go ahead, ColdBrew. Start off with number 8.
Right. We can discuss about this after we finish, for sure. Like with the list, because it's only 8 bosses, by the way, guys. So I will start it off with the Magma Dragon, right?
Yep, and I knew we would agree on that one. That after that one, it starts to get a little bit off, but yeah, I knew we'd agree on that.
Yeah. This one, basically, the even on hard, the only thing that you need is to not go in there with an HP burn and to have a provoke. But even for hard, you don't even need provoke, to be honest. But it can get tougher if you don't have one. But just to make things way easier, no HP burn, a provoke, and you're done, honestly, with this boss. There's not much to think about.
Yeah, the fact that it's a boss that can be CC'd is just, that's a mechanic we very rarely see in raids. So yeah, there's really no way around it. You got champions like War Chief that are S tier with a 3-turn provoke, and even without that, you've got lots of rares and epics and other legendaries that place provoke. So yeah, there's just too many ways for you to get around it. I mean, every boss can be tough in its own right. If you're a new player, the Magma Dragon is going to be tough for you still. But compared to the other bosses, I definitely agree it's the easiest. So go with number 7 now. I wonder if we're going to agree or disagree.
I think we're going to disagree about this one. My number 7, so the next easier one, the list is going to be Frost Spider for me.
Okay. Yep. No,
Okay.
we're close. I won't give you my whole list until the end, but we're
Right.
decently close on that one.
Okay. Frost Spider, the reason for this is that there's no real difficulty in this boss other than, of course, all of these bosses, you do need some kind of hard defensive stats, okay? And this one does not vary any different than all the other bosses in terms of you need to have some defensive stats to survive. You need to have more accuracy than usual to apply your debuffs on the boss. And the strategy that you need to follow is apply an HP burn to the boss in order to keep it dead in the end. Okay, you need to kill the spiralings off first on the sides and then take out the boss. Okay, that might take you some time. The run might be longer. It can be done even without an HP burn. On my free-to-play account, I did this with an armature. I didn't even have an HP burn available. I did it with an armature on manual. I waited when the boss was tiny bit of health left, used this A2, took out the boss, finished it off, and that's how I beat it. All right. And the same thing goes in my thoughts for this boss. You don't need an extreme amount of strategy on taking it out. You just need to know that it's going to revive if you don't kill it off with an HP burn or with a block revive. And kill off the spiralings. That's it. If you can survive the hits, you've got some healing, you got a revive in there through Seal of the Drakes maybe, you're good to go.
Yeah, and it's kind of a pain because you have to target that spiderling on the right, or it's going to constantly wipe the defense break that you try to place on. So it can take a while, but yeah, I can tend to agree. I'll show you my list once you get done with yours, and then we'll kind of talk about it. But yeah, go ahead with number 6 now.
Number 6. Okay, this one I was moving back and forth when we were doing the list together before the video. It's gonna be Scarab King. So the reason that I'm saying this is it does need a very specific strategy to go through with this boss, but it's not so hard to do, especially for the normal difficulties, that you can even use a single champion to take it out. There's many out there. There's many videos out there showing how you can solo the boss with a specific strategy. There's strategies with the shields where you apply your shields constantly. There's the blood shield accessories right now. I think it's the name, right? Which give you a shield when you do damage.
Yep.
Yeah. So those can help you do a strategy even without a shield champion, although they are hard to get and hard to get on a specific champion, which you also have leveled up. So newer accounts have difficulty with that. It does need a strategy. It can be like a big wall where it stops players because they just don't have the champions. But that's honestly the same thing with every boss on the Doom Tower, other than the 2 that I've just mentioned, in my opinion. Okay, not so easily accessible champions with shields, while for Frostbiter you've got easily accessible block revives with armature. All right, so that's why I put him in the in that slot, number 6. And should we go to the next one?
Yeah, go ahead. We're pretty close. I think we're gonna start. There's one of them that we're kind of deviating by at least 2 spots, but I'll see if you put them at number 5.
Nethe Spider is next for me. So Nethe Spider, the amount of poison that this boss does is insane. But the reason I didn't have this higher is because you can actually cheese it so easily with one rare champion, Paragon. You can cheese it out and it just becomes trivial. With a deflection set, Paragon, even level 40, level 50, it totally works. And you do it once and then you move on to the next few stages. If you don't have Paragon, there's still other strategies with cleansers. You need cleansers. There's more champions that do cleanses now or transfer of debuffs available compared to some time ago when we first had the boss out. But I still think it's the more difficult boss than all the others. So for this rotation of the Doom Tower that we have right now, this one is definitely the hardest one in terms of having everything working together to take out the boss. I find it way harder than the Frost Spider.
Yeah, well, and also there's kind of 2 different ways you can rank it, like hardest to clear to get past it, or hardest to like auto farm it, you know, and do 10 runs. So that makes it a little bit hard to do it perfectly. But you know what's funny? Before you get on to number 4 for the top 4, we're guaranteed to have the same bottom 4 and top 4. So
All right.
Maybe slight
Yeah, well,
slight differences, but we
yeah.
have the same bottom 4 and top 4.
The first rotation of the Doom Tower was, compared to everything else that we know so far, it was the easiest one. They just ramped it up in terms of stat requirements with all the other ones. Both in terms of speed, either on resistance and accuracy, or just strategy. That's what I think. And the next one in the list, so number 4, right?
Yep, number 4.
Number 4 for me is gonna be Griffin. So I find him to be the easiest one of the final 4. The reason for that is that you can totally duo this boss with totally accessible champions. Drexar and Seal of the Drakes, with the right gear, of course, can duo this in any difficulty. So regardless of what stage you're trying to beat, those two together can beat it. It's not as hard as you might think. You need to have damage, and then the more champions you put into that specific team, which I mentioned, so Drexar, HP variants do a lot of damage on that boss. Healing and revives do a lot of work as well. And if I'm not mistaken, Blue Affinity is strong against that one, at least the rotation that I remember.
I think so, yeah.
And so it's much easier for an account. Most accounts usually, depending on how many shards they pull, they have a majority of magic champions compared to all other affinities, right? So I find
think so.
that,
I think it's gotten a little bit better since like the last year or so, but yeah, the majority of champions are magic affinity the last time I looked.
yeah, so that's why I have a Griffin in that spot. And next up in the list, I was thinking about this one because it can be very difficult, but I did do multiple videos on strategies for this boss, showcase them with easy strategies with using daily login reward champions. So next one on the list is Dark Fae. This one can be very tricky to farm on 120 hard, but overall, if you got a strategy set up, it's all about having some turn meter reduction on the boss after you kill yourself, your team, your copies.
Yeah.
Okay, so you manage to kill yourself. You have an allure, great, that's enough. Allure with a relentless set, more than enough. Okay, but you need the stats, so it's that's why it's so much down in the list in terms of difficulty. And I did put it below the next one, which is going to be Eternal Dragon. Okay, so the Eternal Dragon, I have it harder than Dark Fae and Griffin. I find that the Eternal Dragon can be very difficult, very hard-hitting boss, plus the cooldown increase that the boss does can be very tricky in both the resistance, accuracy requirements, that you need to be killing specific ads throughout the fight. It's not very auto-friendly depending on the champions that you have available. So that's why I think it's so much down in the list, Eternal Dragon is. And of course, the final one is Bommal.
Okay?
Yeah,
we agree on the bottom and the top for sure.
Okay, the reason that I have Bommal is I've done more takeovers on beating Bommal for others because they are just stuck regardless of what their account has. They can have 50 legendaries. They were still stuck on Bommal. Eternal Dragon, I did some takeovers as well. I've never done takeovers for any of the other bosses, to be fair. I've done for Dark Fae. Okay, I've done for Dark Fae. So the final 3, I've done takeovers before. So it makes sense for them to be the most difficult ones. And Bommal is the hardest one because it's so hard to make things work in the right way. And the champions that you need, there's only like 1 or 2 champions that can actually solo this boss. It does not work on all difficulties. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure, and they didn't even nerf the hard version of it. They nerfed the normal version of it only recently. So that's my list.
Cool. Now I'm gonna go ahead and send over my list to ColdBrew, and then I'll let you react here. So 1 second. All right. So now ColdBrew, we're back, and you can see my list. So does this change your perspective at all, or do you think I'm wrong, or just kind of different feelings about things? And I'll let you know what I think.
What's your thoughts on Nethe Spider being so easy compared to
like you said, like with the cheesing, like
Oh, okay.
so
You
the
can choose
fact that
it
you
so
have that
easily.
option available to you to kind of cheese it just to get past it,
Yeah.
was why I did that. But I mean, you know, we're still I mean we have the same bottom four and top four. I think we're pretty, like you said, it's kind of splitting hairs. What do you prioritize, clearing it
Yeah.
or being able to farm it easily? Like, you know, those are
I would say clearing it first
yeah.
because of the one-time rewards. Then after that, it's honestly it's up to the person who has the account if they want to make a farming team. The most crucial ones to farm are Scarab King, in my opinion, the Griffin, and Dark Fae, then maybe Dreadhorn in terms of farming order. After that, like if you cannot do farming teams for them, it's all about how much free time you have.
Yeah, I would say
So
it's like Scarab is probably what I farm the most. I would say it's Scarab and
yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Fae are easily the top
yeah.
tier, and then after that, it's kind of everybody else. But I like the lethal set. Like a better Savage set is just ridiculous. Like
I have one of them and it's great. It's amazing.
yeah, a better Savage set and a better immunity set. I mean, like it's those two
Yeah,
are just so far up and above everything else that. But the problem is Dark Fae. I had Dark Fae at number 2, and you had Dark Fae at number
yeah,
3. But the reason
yeah,
is because it's such a pain to farm the damn lethal set because it's really hard for most
yeah,
people to put together. Who wants to sit there and manual 15 keys a day? Like it's so
yeah.
hard to put together on auto
It's so
team.
hard. Like for some time, I had a team that had about a 50% win rate. And the good thing with RSL Helper is that it keeps on going, regardless of how many keys you have, um, regardless of how many times you have it. So RSL Helper would just run it over and over. So I would just go out the house. The team would die very quickly, so it would be like a 2-minute run. If it dies, it dies. So it resets, and it would go in again. And with a 50% or so win rate, I would farm all my keys there. But then I improved it a little bit with some changes. Same kind of team, but again, Terminator reduction is huge there. Allure is MVP for this boss.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
nope.
at
And
least
I run
in the build that I
a
have.
similar thing for a long time, just kind of brute forcing it to use your keys to, because I'm not going to sit here and manual Dark Fae for an hour and a half a day. Like screw that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
There's no way. There's no way. No. Yeah, manualing the boss, I would say maybe Bommal requires a lot of manualing. It all depends on your champions, though.
yep, and we both agreed on the bottom and the top, and we agreed on the top three. So yeah, I mean,
We agreed on Griffin as well. We agreed on Griffin.
yep, dead on for Griffin and dead on for Magma, and then most of them were like one off if they were off. The only one
One off, yeah,
we differed the
very
most on
similar.
Nether, but even that was just 2 spots, and it was in the same tier, like
So,
bottom 3 or
so
bottom
have you
4.
done many takeovers for Doom Tower?
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot. A lot of stuff that I get is clan boss still. Like people are looking for help
Yeah, yeah, oh,
to
yeah.
build that unkillable team or figure out and so I get a lot of clan boss, and then you'll get some people that show up on stream and they'll want like help with clearing a Doom Tower boss or a Doom Tower
Yeah,
stage. Like
same.
yeah, so yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of takeovers for Doom Tower bosses. It's usually like a slough thing. Like I'll be doing a takeover for somebody's unkillable clan boss team, and they'll be like, "Hey, while you're in there, can you tell me what I should use versus this?" You know, it'll be like that kind of thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. For me, as I said, I've done more Bommal than anything. It's not like I've done a bunch, but I've done Bommal, Dark Fate, Eternal Dragon, those three, and never any of the other ones. Like imagine Magma Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Never. Although in some coaching sessions, I did just mention how to beat the bosses, but never like an actual hands-on for any of the other ones. Do you think we're gonna have new bosses coming up for the Doom Tower? Maybe this
Um.
year? It wasn't
Gosh.
in their plans for sure.
Yeah, I mean they just had the big release of Dark Fae and Bommal. It's definitely not going to be a priority. I know they're going to be if it is this year, it'll be late, like holiday season, like Thanksgiving, Christmas. Because they've still got to rework Platinum Arena. They've got to do Gold 5. They've got a lot of they advertised a bunch of quality of life changes for the tavern. So they've got some things coming up the next few months. Like if there is a new Doom Tower boss, it's not going to be for a while. They still got to get the Hydra ironed out, and yeah, it'll be a bit until we see another Doom Tower boss, I think.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is that the next, if there's ever another rotation, it's going to be in at least 3 months' time from now. And the way that I'm thinking that is based on the champions that which you unlock. So they haven't introduced more champions yet. So when we're getting closer to like everyone who has been doing consistently the secret rooms and can get that that final champion as a reward, like the epic from normal, that's maybe when we're gonna have something else introduced, or they're gonna, I don't know if they'll do anything, or they're just gonna stop it there and just have 3 rotations and that's it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have access to their metrics. We can't see if new iterations of the Doom Tower drive up any hype or player retention or anything. They've got access to that data, so I do think they've got other stuff to focus on for sure, like reworking PvP and all that stuff. But yeah, we're gonna go record a collab over on ColdBrew's channel as well. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, ColdBrew. Anything you want to say on the way out?
No, man, I'm happy that I changed your mind. My list is far better than yours. The audience will agree. And we'll see you guys, the audience, over on my channel for the other collab that we're just going to record right now in a few minutes.
But see, the great thing is that I can just delete any comments that say your list is better. So, like, I'm guaranteed to win this one.
Free speech. The audience demands free speech.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for this one. I will put a link down below to ColdBrew's channel. Definitely worth checking out. I'm sure most of you have already, but that link will be down there for easy navigation. And that will do it for us on this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.